This month is Stress Month, so happy Stress Month or Stress Awareness Month. so, and I spent the whole month really researching and studying stress. The question that came to me was, what really happens when the stress we ignore becomes the reason why we stop thriving? Think about that question. What really happens when the stress we ignore becomes the reason why we stop thriving? And that's why I put this together to try to answer those questions for you. My teacher told me that if you're doing a presentation, you should always let the people know who you are, what you have for them, and why should they care, right? So who am I? My name is Dr. Kennedy Ndamba, and I've been providing home care physical therapy to seniors for over 15 years now. I've been practicing as a physical therapist for nearly a decade. It's 8 years going on 9. And I own Keka Rehab Services, which has been in practice for almost 6 years now. God has blessed us that we've been growing very fast in the area. A lot of people reach out to us to be able to provide staffing services to their agencies. So part of the service we do is provide staffing services like PT, OT, and speech for other agencies, but also nursing as well. The other part is we focused on what other people don't want to focus on, which is helping other people start their agencies. So we do consultation where we consult with other people who want to enter the home care space, and then we help them get their license, get accredited, get patients, get referrals, connect them with billing, and almost everybody else. So that's one of the things, and I think that's probably the key why we've been able to be seeked out with so many other people in the area, because of being able to do that, because not a lot of people want to and also know how to do that. My commitment, as I said, this is a movement. You're part of the movement for us to help as many seniors as possible. I'm committed to empowering older adults move better, feel better, and live better. That's what I'm committed to. And also at the same time, advocate for you guys to be able to get the services or the care that you need. Because in my opinion, we hear this term, the golden years, and some people don't feel like it is the golden years, you know. And I feel like in our population, unfortunately, seniors spend so much contributing to what we get to enjoy, and then they kind of put aside. And for me, that's one of the driving passions of mine, or compassion, to be able to change that. So we're doing that in different ways, by being innovative, trying to utilize technology, and then help as many agencies as possible to get the services out there. So next slide, please. So the objective today, I hope that you'll be able to understand unaddressed stress, how quietly it impacts your life, your health, your happiness, and also explore the nature of stress and the unique stressors faced by older adults. We will identify physical, mental, emotional, and effects of chronic stress, and then also recognize the warning signs that stress may be causing to your health. Because most of the time, just like hypertension or high blood pressure, they call it the silent killer. But stress is also kind of the silent, killer at the same time, because sometimes you don't even recognize that you're stressed. Or sometimes you even become numb to it, that you don't know the difference. We'll also learn practical strategies for managing stress and building resilience. So when you leave today, I hope you'll be able to instantly be able to manage your stress. So we'll empower you to reclaim your vitality. Vitality is just a fancy word for youth, your joy, meaning, and connection during your golden years. It's called the golden years because to grow old is almost precious. Not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
And also when you grow older, you gain wisdom
Yes.
and you become a very resourceful individual to the rest of the community. So that's why it's called the golden years. So what is stress? So the simple definition of stress is the body's reaction, right? It's a reaction to any challenge or demand. It often feels like mental or physical tension. Examples of stressors: any change or challenge can cause stress. For example, healthy issues. If you get a new diagnosis, that might stress you out. Worries about bills, paying bills, or even positive changes like having a grandchild. That can also bring you some stress. There's acute forms of stress and chronic forms of stress. So the acute is a short-term acute stress, like a sudden scare, which sometimes can be helpful. It gets you moving, or harmless. But if that stress stays longer for weeks, months, then it can be harmful if not managed. So understanding the basics of what stress is how it affects us is key to managing it effectively and avoiding its negative impacts. So life changes, right? We touched upon this. If there's something new happening in your life, you've been working all your life, now all of a sudden you're retired.
Yeah.
You've been used to a routine, now all of a sudden that routine you don't have anymore. Of course, loss of loved ones. As you grow older, you lose loved ones, which can also bring a lot of stress. Moving out of a long-term home, I've been practicing for almost 10 years now, and I see the pain people go through now selling a house or trying to sell the house or move to a nursing home or hold on not wanting to move to a nursing home. So I've seen it, that how much toll it takes on them and also their caregivers as well. The changes, if expected, can be a significant source of stress. Healthy concerns, managing chronic stress, facing mobility limits, because sometimes you've been walking, now all of a sudden you get a stroke, you're not able to walk anymore. You've been walking, now all of a sudden you fell, you broke your hip, now you're going through the recovery. So you understand how that can be stressful. Some people, the memory starts to fade, whereby you start losing your memory, which can be very frustrating and cause more stress too as well. Financial worries, of course, that's always a factor, because we live in a world where everything is money, 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 money. For me, if I had an opportunity to be a world president, I would make sure everything is free for seniors, because I feel like they have already spent all their life and gave it. Everything should be free for seniors. But I'm not, maybe one day. Social isolation, of course, when you grow older and all these things are happening, what ends up happening, you get isolated. And when you're isolated, that does not help. Because then you get disconnected and adds even more emotional stress. We'll talk more about that point coming down the road. How chronic stress affects the body. One, your hormonal imbalances do happen. So hormonal imbalances, the risk of them changing goes up by 35%. Your risk of heart disease goes up by 40%. Your immune system gets weakened. That increases by 30%. And then chronic pain goes up by 45%, which kind of surprised me, because I never associated stress with pain, but it does go up 45%. So sometimes the pain that you're feeling might be because of the stress that you're having. How chronic stress affects the mind and emotions. So chronic stress can lead to significant changes in a person's mood. Your sleep patterns change, and overall cognitive function. Sometimes you might feel very irritable and forgetful. You don't really remember things, where you put the keys, where you park the car, things of that sort. Stress can also disrupt sleep, leaving the person feeling fatigued, because if you can't sleep, then you're tired, right? And finding it harder to concentrate. It might be very hard for you to be able to concentrate on tasks. Additionally, high levels of stress may worsen memory issues and make it challenging to stay focused, further impacting your quality of life. So serotonin, what's really happening to the body, right? What's really happening to the body when stress happens? So there's two what are called neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are just kind of messengers. They communicate. Our bodies has a communication system, right? So they communicate and they do certain functions in our body. And serotonin is one of those feel-good neurotransmitters we have in our body. It's a very good one to know about. It regulates our mood, it regulates our happiness, it regulates our anxiety when we're feeling anxious, and also is involved in sleep, appetite, memory. Lower levels, because when stress happens, it lowers the production of serotonin in the body, making it that you feel more depressed, you feel more anxious, you have chronic pain. So remember the question, what really happens when the stress we ignore becomes the reason we stop thriving? This is the scientific explanation for that. So as you know, these sessions, we always have some giveaways if you answer the question correctly. So, serotonin is produced in the brain and in our gut. 10% is produced somewhere, 90% is produced somewhere. Who can answer the question? It's kind of a 50-50, I just give it to you. So you're all saying in the head? Let's take one more step on it, eh? In the head. So it's not in the head. Actually, 10% is produced in the head. 90% is produced in your stomach. Which is important to know. So it's produced in the stomach, right? What you eat does affect how much is produced of the serotonin, right? So when you eat foods like salmon, fish, the ones that have omega-3, that helps with the production of serotonin. When you eat foods that have nuts, I think someone said nuts, that helps with the production of serotonin. When you go outside, it's summertime now, right? Seasonal depression disorders is about during winter time. And that's because of this. Because in the brain, the 10% that's produced in the brain happens when your eyes see sunlight. So when your eyes see sunlight and the light hits the eyes, then the brain produces more of this, of the serotonin. So that's how you, that's what improves the mood, because the one in the brain is mostly for the mood. The one in the gut is really helping with your bowel movement, with your digestion, your appetite, things of that sort. Then we have dopamine, which is the reward or motivation chemical that we have in our body. So sometimes some of my patients, you go there and they're really unmotivated. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to be bothered. You have to motivate them to get them to do something. So it controls pleasure, feeling good, happiness, motivation, reward, and also involved in focus. So lower levels, of course, leads to okoye, or you're tired, you're fatigued, and foods, opportunity to win here. Which foods can you eat to improve dopamine?
Food.
Eh?
Natural food.
Very smart answer. I want specifics. Yes.
Okay.
Balanced food.
Yes, you do need a balanced diet, but can you give me an example? Of course, you need a balanced diet like your whole foods, plant-based foods, greens, vegetables.
Greens. Vegetables.
How about let me give you an example. meat, chicken, turkey, bananas.
Fish.
So yes, you do get a little bit of dopamine from fish, but you get a lot of dopamine actually if you eat turkey. If you eat turkey, you get a lot of dopamine if you eat bananas. Bananas are called a superfood. If you eat bananas, you do get a lot of dopamine. Also, if you eat seeds, nuts, you do get dopamine. I got me for the yeah, I got it. So how stress affects serotonin? Of course, that's what we just said. It decreases the production, it lowers the mood, and then disrupts your sleep and appetite. You know, you might be that your appetite is low. Then you have dopamine. Also dopamine goes down, diminishes motivation and pleasure, and weakens reward. If you ever heard of patients who have Parkinson's disease, this is what's going on, especially people in populations where Parkinson's disease is very prevalent. Going on, their dopamine production is impaired. So when stress is ignored, we tend to become used to it. Okay, so it is easy to ignore stress when it builds up slowly. We might think I'm just getting older. That's the kind of the most common excuse. Oh, I'm just getting older. But really, there's underlying stress or it is normal to feel like this. Sometimes it might be like, oh no, it's normal to feel like this. I'm just getting older. In fact, people can get accustomed to chronic stress, and they stop noticing it, where you just have stress going on for a long time, which quite takes a toll on your health. Unaddressed stress keeps wearing down the body. Maybe your blood pressure inches up and actually this is where heart attacks happen. When serotonin goes down and then you have high stress, cortisol, which is one of those another neurotransmitters, your production of cortisol goes higher, which making you be in that fight or flight mode, and then your blood pressure keeps going being high chronically, and then you can end up with things like strokes, heart attack, things of that sort. You might not link these to stress, but stress could be the root cause, right? So stress itself might not kill you, but it kind of induces the other things that can kill you. Yeah. So emotional numbness, ignoring stress can lead to shutting down feelings. Some seniors say they just feel flat and unmotivated. Not realizing stress overload is sapping, which is reducing their mental strength and joy, right? And I think now you guys are much wise about, why it happens because of those two neurotransmitters so you stop thriving. Over time, hidden stress can steal your ability to thrive. I used for so long when I get new patients and they evaluate, and then you get a list of all these diagnoses, and then you see failure to thrive, and I'll see failure to thrive. Almost everybody has failure to thrive, and it's a diagnosis. And I used to ask myself, I'm like, failure to thrive? How can someone really fail to thrive? But it's partly because of the stress that's happening. And the meaning of thriving means more than just surviving. Because sometimes you might be in a survival mode. If you're thriving, you're growing, you're happy, you're excited, you're moving somewhere. And when you're not thriving, it's the opposite. You're down, you're isolated, you're sad, you stop eating, you're depressed, you sleep more. I used to wonder, why people seniors sleep longer? Why do they sleep more? 12 hours, 15 hours, still sleeping, That has to be contributing. So if you ignore stress, or ignore stress can turn into fatigue, being into illness, depression, whereby you really don't want to do anything, which keeps you from fully enjoying life. So failure to thrive, what does it mean? Failure to thrive in seniors is a medical term for a state of overall decline. So you're really declining. It often includes unexplained weight loss. So most of the time, people who have that diagnosis, they are very frail and skinny because they are what? They're not eating. They have no appetite. They're weak, and then decrease the function. In other words, in plain language, failure to thrive means an older person is wasting away. That's very sad. I feel like you should always be purposeful, because that's why you are created, is to have a purpose up until the final days. Losing their spark, you might hear, oh, I lost my spark. That's common. They might be losing weight, sleeping much more, barely engaging with others, and just doing well overall. And not just doing well overall, or even don't have new specific illness. The dwindles, right? Some people call this the condition, the dwindles. Uganda you hear that word. I just have the dwindles. The person is gradually dwindling in health, energy, and interest in life. So warning signs of stress overload. So frequent headaches. Sometimes people have headaches, tension and muscle tension. The necks stiffen up. On the neck. The muscles are tense. The shoulders, if you try to do massage on them, they have almost a golf balls in the shoulders because they have so much chronic stress. Then changes in sleep and appetite, trouble falling asleep. You might go to go to sleep, but then you wake up, you're still restless. You didn't sleep because your mind is racing, you're anxious. Difficulty concentrating, mood and behavior changes, you're irritable. That's one of my things. If I'm stressed or under a lot of stress, most of the time I'm because of I feel like it's easy. I get very irritated easily. That's when I start to notice, okay, she's smiling because she knows. But that's when I notice, oh, yep, I'm definitely getting a lot of stress right now. Anxiety, sadness, or withdrawing from social activities. And that's me personally. I love going to the gym. No gendo kuzanyo mupira, so playing soccer. And when I notice myself I'm no longer going to the gym or going to play soccer, then I'm like, okay, I have to change it, because sometimes it becomes a vicious cycle whereby you're stressed. Now you don't want to do anything, but the things you're supposed to do, they are supposed to get you out of stress, but you don't want to go do them. So it becomes kind of a vicious cycle that if you leave it unaddressed, you will stop thriving. So don't ignore these physical, mental, and behavior changes. They are your body's way of signaling that stress you are experiencing has become too much. Recognizing these early signs allows to take proactive steps to manage stress before it becomes a serious toll on your well-being. So warning signs of failure to thrive, to be ogedeko, weight loss, weakness, cognitive decline, right? Low appetite, poor nutrition, neglected self-care, whereby you're not taking care of yourself, withdrawal, whereby muntu yali jamu gatherings nga zino tokyayagala kujja, you isolate. And there's a lot of people out there who are like that, but we can help them to come here, or even reaching out to them, just checking in with them. It really helps. So managing stress, healthy body habits, staying hydrated, exercise, eating a balanced diet, making sleep a priority. I might touch on the sleep. So sometimes your sleep is impacted, not because the environment, it might be there's a lot of dust, there's a lot of mold, there's a lot of air that's not purified. Just simply improving that kijja kuyamba your sleeping, right? So just focusing on the environment, gye weebakamu n'okola inventory of your environment, n'ogamba okay, environment eno gye neebakamu, is it a good environment? It might be just where you do your spring cleaning and you clean it, or get a humidifier, or get a purifier, air purifier, to purify the air so that you can get quality sleep, because it's very important. Doing relaxing activities, whereby you relax. Activities like, some people have playing cards, playing games, going for a walk, things of that sort do help. Going out in nature. Katonda yatutonda kubeera nti we're supposed to be outside. Then we build houses. But you're supposed to go out in nature because nga twayogedde, sunlight is very beneficial. Going for walks, there's other techniques byengenda okwogerako, but getting in tune with nature is very good. Me, I think, especially when you're retired and now you're looking for things byosobola okukola, sometimes it's hard to find that purpose. But something as simple as having an indoor garden, right? She can testify. I started an indoor garden in our home, but it does help, because there's benefits of having plants in the home. Oxygen, carbon dioxide, exchanging both those. You waking up and watering them, that does give you purpose. Some other people, they get pets, cats, dogs, that gives you purpose, and those things of that sort do help you to continue thriving. So staying physically active, eating a nutritious diet, prioritizing quality sleep are all key habits that can help you fortify your body against the damaging effects of chronic stress. Simple activities like daily walking, going for a walk, it's very, very beneficial. Filling your plate with fruits and vegetables. I know in my community we struggle with that. Making sure the diet is balanced, and maintaining a consistent routine sleep that can go a long way in supporting your overall well-being. So managing stress. So now we're gonna get into managing stress, the techniques, and then we'll also practice some of these techniques today. So deep breathing. I think some of you know I love deep breathing. And deep breathing is one of those things that you're supposed to call it out right away, that you can do right away, and then all of a sudden the stress is relieved, right? Try slow deep breathing, belly exercises. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4, and then exhale through your mouth for 4. So we will go through that. It's called the box technique of breathing. So you do 4, 4, 4, right? So we'll go through that technique. Meditation and mindfulness. Meditation is I've had the privilege of working with clients in all different walks of life, but the ones who are high performers, of our former doctors, of our business owners, they take meditation very, very seriously. And I think because of the benefits from meditation. Mindfulness, right? Mindfulness is a technique of meditation. And that's about what mindfulness is. Banange ebirabo byange nzirayo nabyo.
Relaxing yourself.
Mine close, but that's not the definition. So mindfulness is bringing your mind and your focus in the present.
Your focus.
Yeah, but you missed a little bit. So bringing yourself to the present. Let's say, for example, bw'obanga olya emmere. Being mindful, actually it's a technique. When you're eating, being mindful of you eating, how it tastes, the way you chew it, you swallow it. That's mindfulness. You're focused to the present. There's also a technique called mindful walking. where you go for a walk, and sometimes you just go for a walk, but to make it mindful, you really focus and you are present. You feel everything, the air, the breeze, the sensation of your foot touching the ground, right? That's you being mindfully walking. It's actually a very good technique. Of course, yoga and Tai Chi. Tai Chi is a very good technique because it also gets you in the present, but it also does movement, mobility, balance. So it incorporates all the different aspects. Muscle relaxation. There's techniques. We'll practice some of these techniques of muscle relaxation, whereby you gently tense and then release the muscle groups at a time, which helps to alleviate stress in ebanti kurachi again that. So enjoyable calm activities. Of course, we all have our own activities. I enjoy going neza nyomupira. Yeah, so you being aware of which enjoyable activities that we're enjoying. It could be cooking. You enjoy cooking. So using those activities nacho chikorachi chiyamba. So stay connected to the power of social support. This is the power of social support. Having groups like this or programs like this, or by even having friends. But some of my clients, there's a group of, I think there's 5 guys. Now they're all in their 80s, and they became friends while they're still in high school. And they started doing something whereby they go out for breakfast, and they've been doing this all their life, and now they still look forward to meeting on Saturday, and then they just go have breakfast together. So that social support and looking forward to that is very helpful. Those are things that kind of give you purpose and help you to keep thriving. So prioritize self-care and purpose. Make time for joy. I need this advice. Sometimes I find myself go, and then I neglect this. But definitely we all need that reminder to make time for joy. Me time, they call it. So try to schedule me time where that's time for you. Small steps do make big difference, so you don't have to think like you have to do it all. Just taking a minute and you focus on your breath and feeling how you're breathing, how it goes all the way down into your body, all the way down to your toes. Just that simple exercise. Keep a routine. Having a daily routine can provide comfort and stability. Simple things like regular morning routine, where you wash up, get dressed, have breakfast. So keeping that structure, it helps you to not be overwhelmed or anxious. And again, we talked about finding purpose. And purpose can be in looking forward to come here, volunteering. I mentioned something like an indoor plant, starting an indoor garden, or even an outdoor garden. So all those things give you purpose. And purpose for me, I haven't proven it, but I think it's one of the reasons some people live longer than others. Because I've seen some patients whereby they lost purpose, they don't have purpose anymore, and then they die younger, 75. Then you have other patients. I've had the privilege of treating patients who are over 100, multiple patients above 100, and I always wonder why. What's the secret, right? And it's because some of them, they still have purpose. So it's important to keep your purpose, because that's one of the reasons why you're created, is to have the purpose. And your purpose can always change. You can have a new purpose or discover new purpose. Building resilience and mindset. So positive outlook, try to focus on what's good each day, right? Cultivating gratitude shifts attention away from stress and reinforces positive feelings, helping you bounce back from challenges. It could be just simply writing a positive note to yourself or to your loved one, to your children, to your grandchildren, things of that sort. Mindfulness and spirituality, definitely spiritually, is very good. It's important to have that spiritual relationship or with the Creator, right? And it can bring a sense of comfort, right? And perspective that helps you manage the stress. So going to church, I feel relaxed when I go to church. It's actually one of those things that I enjoy doing now, because that's when I don't have to worry about everything else and I'm just there. It can be very relaxing. Adaptability. Life will keep changing, so embrace, be flexible with everything. Adapt to new circumstances, a new diagnosis. What happened, one of the things I learned is what happens to you happens to everybody else. The difference is how you deal with it, right? So being able to adapt and deal with the new changes is very important. Laugh and have fun. There's a technique that you can practice it here. Is laughter therapy, whereby it's induced therapy of laughter, where you can start laughing. It starts out as a fake laugh, but then ends up being a real laugh, and that does help alleviate a lot of stress and can be really good. Stay curious, engaging the mind, learning something new, whether it's a simple recipe or using technology. So don't be afraid to learn new things. This is one of the things that a lot of seniors do. They no, I can't learn anything new. And it's just so I could call it exercise. We are tired. But those are all excuses. We are tired. It's all excuses. The tree outside, the tree never says, I'm tired, I can't grow anymore. It keeps growing. Right? So you too, and you're the only being on the planet that Katonda blessed for you to be able to learn anything you want, grow as much as you want. So it's a blessing, really.